Hello and welcome to the CASTcast. This is the podcast for the Association for Software Testing, and more specifically, for the Conference of the Association for Software Testing, otherwise known as CAST. I'm Michael Larson.
And I'm Claire Moss.
And today we are happy to be joined by Raj Subramanian. Hi, Raj.
Hi, Michael.
So, Raj, thanks so much for joining us today. So, the cool thing is that we get a chance to hear you twice. So you're going to be doing two talks, and let's start first off with the first talk that you are going to be giving, which is
Demystifying Mobile Testing, Quick Tours on Your Mobile App.
Yes, let's start there. Actually, before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and, it's actually important for us, I think, to be able to get the backstory for the speakers. So we'd like to know a little bit about you, what got you into your current role, what got you into testing, and what's bringing you to CAST?
Sure. Thanks, Michael and Claire, for having me in this podcast. So in terms of my testing journey, it all started after I graduated with a bachelor's in information technology when I was in India. And I was interviewing with different companies, and one of the companies apparently liked me, and they gave me a job offer, and they gave me two choices. One was a software developer position, and another one was a software tester position. And I asked them, hey, what's the software tester position? They said they opened up a new position where people would be testing software, and a good thing about it is they would be working through different domains and different tools and technology stacks. So that kind of sounded really cool to me. So I said, you know what, I'll be a software tester. So it started there in 2006, and now it's 2017, and I'm still here in software testing.
Excellent. Very cool. Let's talk a little bit about your talk. So, demystifying mobile testing, quick tours on your mobile app. For a lot of people, mobile testing, it doesn't have the same level of infrastructure and time and tools. It's a little bit of a different format than we're probably used to. I mean, many of us are used to the idea of sitting down with our computer, and we've got all these tools and resources that we've had for decades in many cases, and mobile apps don't quite respond the same way. So give me a little bit of an idea as to what we want to do if we want to be able to, take a stab at being a little bit more effective in the mobile.
Sure, Michael. Yeah, you had a valid point. People think about mobile applications differently, like a totally different environment. As testers, we often fail to notice some of the subtle differences between testing mobile apps compared to other applications. That kind of brings me to the topic, which I'm going to talk about. So as and when I was testing mobile applications for the past 4 or 5 years, it was hybrid apps, native apps, web apps, and everything related to mobile. I started seeing patterns in terms of all these bugs which I was finding. I was using a set of common testing approaches to actually find them. So once I realized this, I came up with a mind map of how common testing approaches helps to find different types of defects. And using this mind map, people can do quick tours on their mobile application and get quick feedback about their systems. That's what my talk is going to be about. And people who attend my session can get some idea on real life defects which I found by using these approaches, and hopefully they would be able to use them in their own projects.
I'm curious about that myself. I started out in point of sale software, so mobile was not my first rodeo. I've done some mobile testing, but I don't really know how different it is. So for those people who are coming to your session who may not have a mobile testing background, what kinds of information do you think that they will be learning from you?
That's correct. In the sense, doing mobile testing, I was just saying that there were some subtle differences. So when they come to my session, the attendees would learn about different testing approaches, which probably slightly different from other applications, like switching between Wi-Fi 4G, how application uses device features such as gyroscope, accelerometer, and other device features to give you that user experience. So for example, when you were playing a game, say a racing game, and when you move your iPad to the left or to the right, automatically your car in the game moves to the left and right. And how do they do that? They make use of device features like gyroscope, accelerometer. So I talk about how you can tap into those features and use it for testing purposes and find issues. I also talk about interrupt testing, where as and when you're testing your mobile applications, I often ask people to call me or text me, or I enable notifications to simulate real life user experience of how a person would actually use your mobile apps. So those are some of the gist of different things which I'll be covering in the session, and people get to know these differences.
I like that you're mentioning some of those device-specific aspects of mobile testing. I'm curious about whether simulators figure into some of your learning.
Simulators are really important aspect of mobile testing, and yes, I would be covering that in my session. I talk about how you can use the simulators and the emulators. Again, the difference between the two you'll know when you come to the session, but I talk about how to use those tools for testing purposes, especially when it's close impossible to buy all the kind of devices, like an iPhone devices or the Android devices. So I talk about how to use the simulator and emulator instead for your testing.
So, Raj, I don't currently do mobile testing, but how would a person who's looking over the schedule for CAST know that they're a good candidate to come to your session? Can you tell us a little bit about your target audience?
My target audience for the session are people who have never done mobile testing before, or are already doing mobile testing and who want to get ideas on different tools or testing approaches they could actually use to find different vulnerabilities in your mobile application. Those are some of the things the attendees would get from my session, and that's my audience for the session too.
Fantastic. So Raj, just so that people can get a better idea of who you are and a little bit more about how they can get in touch with you, how can people, in addition to coming to CAST, get to know a little bit more about you, see a little bit more about what you talk about, communicate with you, etc.?
Sure. So I blog regularly on my website. It's www.rajsubra.com, rajsubra.com. So apart from posting blogs, I also have a lot of testing resources related to mobile and non-mobile on my website. I also have a quarterly testing newsletter, which goes out to people who subscribe to my newsletter. It consists of different testing information, which I found useful and think that it'd be useful for other testers in the communities. Again, if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, you could just go to my website, rajsubra.com/subscribe, and you should be able to get periodic updates from me. And also, I'm active on Twitter. You can follow me on Epsilon11, EPSILON 11. So that's how you can reach me.
So if you want to hear more about what we've been talking about today, we encourage you to go to www.associationforsoftwaretesting.org, click on the CAST 2017 conference link, and sign up. We look forward to seeing you at CAST. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you on the CASTcast very soon. Talk to you later.
Take care, y'all.
Thanks, guys.